The action of the play takes place in a mansion in Chappaqua, New York. The time is December 1940. The setting is the library of the mansion. Entrances are door up center, which leads to the main hall of the house, and French doors down right, which lead to a garden. There is a door to a walk-in closet up right center. The walls of this room are lined with bookshelves, ceiling high. At 3 places in the room, the bookshelves mask entrances to interior passageways in the house. One of these entrances is up left center. Here, a section of the bookcase revolves to reveal the passageway. Another passage is behind a sliding bookcase, up right, and yet another behind a sliding bookcase, down left. As for set dressing, left is a desk and chair. There's a bar cabinet built into the bookcase right. Right center is a piano and bench. Up center, over doorway, hangs a portrait of a German general circa 1860. Crossed swords are hung beneath it. When the play opens, it is midnight. Naturally. The musical comedy Murders of 1940. Act 1. A maid, Helsa, enters carrying a serving tray with teapot and 2 cups. She places tray on desk, turns on desk lamp, straightens pillow on wing chair down left. From right, behind the drapes, we hear a voice. Helsa, you forgot the sugar. Helsa stops, surprised. Helsa! Helsa crosses to drapes, holds out hand tentatively to touch the drapes. But first, an arm, then a leg. And as the figure stuffs the leg under the drapes, finally, the entire... Wait, I missed a thing. Holds out hand tentatively to touch the drapes. A figure dressed entirely in black leaps out and stabs her to death. That's important.
Important, Geoff.
That was a big thing. A figure dressed entirely black leaps out and stabs Helsa to death. The figure then attempts to stuff her body behind the drapes. But first an arm, then a leg, and as the figure stuffs the leg under the drapes, finally the entire torso and head pop out. In frustration, the figure picks the body up in a fireman's carry and carries body to a chair, where he leaves it while he crosses up. Body slides to floor. Figure discovers closet, opens door, comes back to body, drags body from behind, away from chair, stands body up, then runs around body to catch it on shoulders as it falls. Carries body to closet and places it inside, closes door on his arm, holding body upright. After door closes, we hear the body hit the door. Figure hears someone coming and runs to hide behind drapes. Elsa von Grossenuten and Sergeant Kelley enter. She is an attractive, middle-aged woman. He is a large black man, wearing a trench coat and carrying a makeup kit.
And since we have an early day tomorrow, we'd best have our Ovaltine and go to bed. Oh dear, Helsa's forgotten the sugar.
Not on my account.
You don't take sugar?
I don't take Ovaltine.
If it's good enough for Orphan Annie's, Sergeant.
She picks up a list from the desk and crosses to Kelley.
Here's a list of the people you're picking up in the morning. At 9:30 a.m. in front of the Brill Building, a Mr. Eddie McEwen. Mr. McEwen is a struggling young comedian. The Brill Building is...
Yes, I know where it is.
Of course you do. Then Mrs. Baverstock will be at her apartment at 230 East 50th. Oh, Mr. McEwen is, I am given to understand, an incredibly struggling young comedian. Perhaps to spare Mrs. Baverstock, he'd better ride up front with you.
Swell.
Then at a house in East 92nd Street, you're to pick up an actor named Patrick O'Reilly. Mr. O'Reilly is an Irish tenor.
You told this Mrs. Baverstock that you had a new chauffeur?
I made up some story, yes. The others arrived by car and train. I do hope they make their connections.
She crosses toward the radio.
The snow's supposed to stop by midnight.
Elsa has turned on the radio. We hear Jeannie with the light brown hair.
I wish they'd settle whatever it is they're striking about. I'm sick of Stephen Foster.
She dials a weather report, which comes in. And still falling all along the eastern seaboard. What had been originally estimated as 2 inches has already doubled that, with no end in sight.
I hope this won't scare off our people.
What?
She turns the radio down.
I said, I hope this won't scare off our people.
My dear, these are actors, producer, director, composer, lyricist, coming to get my money for their Broadway show. Nothing short of the end of the world will stop them.
Well, if this is going to work, you've got to say the speech exactly like we rehearsed it. You're going to be able to pull off your end of this, okay?
Pointing to the portrait over the doorway.
Espionage is in my blood, Sergeant. I won't fail you.
She has crossed to the desk and picked up a makeup kit.
Poor dead Bibi's deco makeup kit. Being au courant was so important to her. And now, she's anything but.
Handing her a small notebook.
Here.
Ah, yes. That which may reveal a murderer.
Puts the notebook in makeup kit.
Oh, Sergeant, this is going to be a grand adventure, isn't it?
Puts the kit in the desk drawer and picks up a list.
And I planned a perfectly grand menu for the occasion. To begin, a terrine of December fruit, followed by lobster on dill, and then...
Well, yeah. Since this is going to be my first adventure driving in the snow tomorrow, I had better get some sleep.
Come, I'll show you to your room.
She turns off the lamp on desk. As they go to the door,
I must admit, you're something of a surprise to me, Sergeant. I had thought all New York City policemen to be Irish.
We are.
she turns off the lights in the room. They exit. The figure steps out from behind the drapes, begins to cross the stage, hears something on the radio, goes back, turns it up, and listens. Nor the Federal Bureau of Investigation would confirm these rumors. The Nazi submarine is believed to have landed these men on the shore off Long Island earlier this month. With the discovery of the body of Franz Becker, knifed to death in the back of a restaurant in the Yorkville section of Manhattan, it is now believed that only one, possibly the leader of the saboteurs, is still at large. In other news, the British Eighth Army announced success today in North Africa near Sidi Barrani. The figure turns the radio off, crosses to the desk, takes out the makeup kit and removes the notebook. The figure leafs through it quickly, then throws it back in the kit and removes the lipstick and compact from the kit and puts the kit back in the desk drawer. Figure stands tapping the knife as he thinks. An owl is heard outside. Lights fade to black. A car, gunning its motor, obviously stuck in the snow, is heard as the lights come up. Helsa enters, looks around the room, and starts to cross to the French doors. Elsa, bundled in furs, enters.
Helsa, there seems to be a taxi stuck in the drive. I'm going down with the shovel. And the bar needs condiments. Will you see to it?
Ja, gnädige Frau.
Gnädige Frau. Bit formal this morning, aren't we? Oh, I think I know. Little Helsa is curious about my overnight guest, isn't she?
Nein.
Not even curious which bedroom he slept in?
She laughs and attempts to kiss her. Helsa turns her head.
Oh, don't worry, you're still the princess here. Now, to the day. There will be 7 for lunch, 4 for dinner. I want you at your most efficient today, Helsa. I'm not at liberty to tell you why, but this day will add a bone-chilling chapter to the von Gross-Kanuten annals.
As she goes, she points to the Ovaltine tray.
Clear that also, will you?
She exits center. Helsa turns to the French doors. O'Reilly stands outside. She starts, then opens doors.
Is that me? I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry, guys. All right. Thank you. Sure, and we're after being stuck down the road at the bottom of your driveway, once you know.
Ja, here's a car.
No, that's another car. I can't even get up the hill. I'm Patrick O'Reilly.
He takes off his hat to reveal a close-cropped blonde head. He is large, rather sinister man with a saber scar across his left cheek.
I'm one of the actors, and I thought I'd be coming up to see if I could borrow a shovel.
Shovel. Oh, Fräulein von Grossen-Knuten is using it right now. May I take your coat?
I may as well go back down then and see what I can do.
He crosses to the French doors.
You are Irish, Mr.
As Paddy's car. And you? Are you Scandinavian?
I am German.
Are you now?
A refugee. Fräulein von Grossen-Knuten gave me refuge here 4 years ago.
Did she now?
From the Nazis.
The Nazis, was it?
Swine they are.
I see. Well, it's been most interesting meeting you, Miss...
Wenzel. Helsa Wenzel.
Wenzel, yes.
He turns to go, then stops.
Faith in Bigora, but isn't there a very famous German cabaret and a trainer named Wenzel? At the Tivoli, I believe.
You are familiar with German cabaret entertainers?
Well, it's after me being business now, isn't it? Oh, isn't it? Dieter Wenzel, isn't that his name?
I never paid much attention to the cabarets.
From the hallway center, we hear voices. Elsa enters, followed by Ken Dillamaze and Nikki Crandall. Ken is a handsome man in his mid-40s. His clothes and tan are Hollywood. Nikki is a beautiful young woman in her 20s. She occasionally wears glasses, but it makes not a whit of difference to her beauty. She is carrying a shoulder bag and an envelope with lead sheets.
This is the library. We'll hold the audition here, Ken.
Ken looks around the room, crosses to the wing chair, and moves it a few inches.
Director at work.
Ken moves the chair back a few inches.
You can move it around any way you like.
It's perfect.
Hello, I'm Elsa von Grossenknuten.
Clicking his heels.
I'm Patrick O'Reilly. Our group is stuck down below. I came up for a shivel.
A shovel?
A shuffle.
Oh, shovel, of course. Well, it's right outside the door. This is Miss Nikki,
Randall.
and this is Kendall Mays, your director.
Pleased to meet you, I'm sure. And now I'll be after getting that shivel.
He crosses to the door.
I'll go with you.
It's after being down at the bottom of the hill, miss. And the snow is as steep as the cliffs of Killarney.
I'm of solid Bavarian stock, Mr. O'Reilly. Snow is in my blood.
Not in your heart, dear Elsa. This lady is the most generous patron of our art alive today.
Am I, Ken?
Without you, Elsa, there wouldn't be more than 30 or 40 shows on the Great White Way. She backed 12 last season.
Helsa enters with the condiments and goes to the bar.
Well, I do like to dabble. Now, Ken, suppose you mix you and Miss Crandall a drink. Helsa will take your luggage to your room. Northwest guest room, Helsa.
Helsa exits.
Roger and Bernice will be down as soon as they thaw out. Marjorie's trudging up the hill. Soon we'll all be together once more, won't we, Ken?
Yes, it'll be good to see Roger and Bernice again.
All together, right, Ken?
A bit bewildered by her attitude.
Yes.
And when I come back, I want to hear all about Hollywood, what it's like.
Just dump the garment district in the middle of an orange grove. That's Hollywood.
As she goes,
How picturesque.
O'Reilly follows her out.
Of course, there is an ocean somewhere.
You never saw the ocean?
Certainly, I saw the ocean. I was at a party in Santa Monica one night, and somebody pulled open the drapes. Drink?
Oh, no, thank you.
You were about to tell me in the cab which show you were in Washington.
Dunbury.
You know Bob, then?
Bob?
Bob Alton, the choreographer.
This was the road company. Jimmy Arneman staged it.
Oh, and you closed in Washington?
No, I left the show in Washington.
Not to come up here for a backer's audition, I hope.
Oh, no. I've got other things on the fire.
And you're a singer-dancer?
Dancer, mostly.
Yes, I kind of thought that when I watched you get off the train.
Oh, I walk like a duck, you mean?
No, you tripped over your suitcase.
Sure sign.
And with whom did you study dance?
Well, see, I'm from Chicago.
I know Chicago quite well.
Actually, south of there. You know Kankakee?
I'm afraid not.
I studied there with Natasha Dubrovitska.
I see.
Jeepers, this is a swell house, isn't it?
Yes.
I'll bet they have some swell houses in Hollywood.
Ostentatious, but swell, yes.
You live out there?
I'm hoping this enterprise will bring me back to New York.
You're not working on any movies now.
I've just finished a picture, Moonlight in Rio.
Moonlight in Rio? You shot a movie in Brazil?
No, I shot in Culver City, except for the beach. The beach I shot in Oxnard.
Oh, who's in it?
Alice Faye, Dick Powell, Phil Silvers, Ann Miller, Patsy Kelley, George Brent, Loritz Melchior, Jascha Heifetz, and Bora Minovich.
Oh, sure. I saw that.
You probably did, but this one hasn't been released yet.
Oh,
It's good. Good to be back.
New York?
The theater. That event, as ancient as man and as mysterious and inspiring as the nature man once sought to imitate or appease in his earliest rituals. Rituals we now call the theater. Not moving pictures, but life. Life distilled to a pure, clear ring of truth. Never forget that. It is your heritage.
Well, I guess. But I've only ever done musical comedy.
Yes, well, if you excuse me, I'm going to take my sherry upstairs and into the bathtub. Get rid of some of the Union Pacific Railroad I brought with me.
Oh, sure. Go ahead. I want to look over the lead sheets anyway.
She drops her purse on the piano. It makes a very loud thud. She smiles at Ken.
See you later.
He exits center. Nikki takes lead sheets from the envelope. A man appears outside the French doors and raps, shave and a haircut, 2 bits, on the glass. He is Eddie McEwen, a young, energetic man in his late 20s. Nikki crosses and opens the door. Mid swirling snow, Eddie steps in.
Hi, I'm Admiral Byrd. Am I lost? This is the North Pole. Boy, what a blizzard. I passed 4 penguins on my way up here. One of them was wearing a polar bear. Only kidding. I'm Eddie McEwen. This your place?
No, I'm Nikki Crandall. Miss von Grossenknuten just went down the hill to help some people who are stuck.
That's us. And a taxi ahead of us and a car behind us. They'll never make it up the hill. I decided to hoof it.
He crosses to center.
Your boots? The Oriental?
He jumps off the carpet.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
He sits on the piano bench to remove galoshes.
You here for the audition?
Yes.
You write it, or?
I'm an actress.
Great. Guess we'll be working together.
You're an actor?
Well, I'm a comedian, actually. You see Helsa poppin'?
Are you in it?
I had a couple of bits, yeah. I just left it a month ago, doing some radio.
Picking up his coat, hat, and galoshes, he crosses stage towards the center door, sees the closet.
This the closet?
Eddie opens the closet door, which swings on stage and towards right. Just as he does this, Nikki speaks so that Eddie turns back to her. He therefore is not looking into the closet, and Nikki is looking down at the lead sheets, which is a good thing, because in the closet stiffly stands a dead Helsa Wenzel, clothed only in bra and panties. She begins falling forward.
The coat closet is outside in the hall.
Oh,
He closes the door, stopping Helsa's fall. There's a thud on the door, which they don't hear.
out here?
Yes.
Eddie exits. Nikki is looking at sheet music.
Pardon me, is that my heart on my sleeve while we're apart?
After a moment, Eddie returns and crosses to her.
Oh, you've got music.
Yeah. Didn't they send you some?
I only got the gig yesterday. Some other guy got sick. My agent asked me, can I sing? Sure, I say. Always say yes. One of my rules, no matter what they ask. Yes. This morning, a limo picks me up, parks me in front with a chauffeur. Then we pick up a dame and a mug in Yorkville. What a trip. Driving in a snowstorm, I can't see a thing, so I don't know how the driver can. And on top of that, he's deaf.
Deaf?
Had to be. I did 40 minutes of my best stuff. He don't crack a smile.
Looking at the music.
White House Merry-Go-Round
Nice tune.
by Roger Hopewell and Bernice Roth. Hopewell and Roth. Hey, is this going to be one of their shows?
I guess so.
Hot dog.
You don't get any better than that.
What a break. They got a string of hits. I think except for Manhattan Holiday, they've never had a flop. What's the other music? Is there a number for a comic?
I don't know, but I'm sure Mr. De La Maze will assign parts.
Ken De La Maze? He's here too. He's the director. Hot dog.
Yes. You didn't know that?
I don't know anything except I'm getting $25 to do a backers audition for some dame named Von Grossen something.
Knuten.
No thanks, I just had a Danish.
That's her name. Von Grossenknuten.
Hey, that was a joke. I'm a comic, remember?
I'll try.
Boy, this is the opportunity of a lifetime to be in at the start of a hit show. I guess they're looking for a producer.
As I understand it, they've got a producer. They want an angel.
Who's the producer?
Marjorie Baverstock.
Hot dog, Marjorie Baverstock. Oh my gosh.
A look of horror on his face, he runs out.
She was probably the woman in your car. Was she wearing mink?
But Eddie has dashed out of the room. In a moment, he runs back in, carrying hats, coat, scarf, and galoshes, and struggling to get them on as he moves to the French doors.
You're going back out?
I'm going back, period, to New York City.
What?
Come on, grab your coat. It's the same people. Manhattan Holiday, the same creative team.
So they had a dud. That scares you back to New York?
No, the stage door slasher scares me back to New York. Get your coat.
The who?
Where you been? The stage door slasher. 2 years ago, 3 women murdered, all chorus girls, all in Manhattan Holiday.
Oh, yeah, now I remember reading something. See, I was on the road and...
They had to close the show. The chorus wouldn't come to work until they caught the slasher, and lady, they never caught him. So let's hit the breeze.
If he only killed women, what are you so worried about?
How do I know he hasn't changed his preferences?
What makes you think the killer would be here? There are no chorus girls here.
They look at each other.
Wait a minute. I'll get my coat.
She crosses to the door, stops.
Oh, this is silly. That was 2 years ago, and the only similarity is the creative team. Anyway, you'll never get back to New York in this weather. Look how thick the snow is falling. It's a dark, sunless day. For all you know, the killer may be stranded out there, hidden by the snow, waiting. And it's just gonna get darker and darker and...
You can stop before you get to Dracula's entrance, okay? Come on, get your coat. I'll leave her a note.
He crosses to the desk for a pen.
I'll take my chances outside. Why, there must be 25 rooms in this joint, and the slasher could be hiding in any of them. And that don't count the closets.
By moving the pen holder, he has caused the revolving bookcase up left to half open.
My gosh!
What?
He sees the bookcase, starts to run to French doors. Nikki runs to the bookcase.
A secret passage.
Let's get out of here.
Let's take a look.
My gosh, they do exist.
Who do?
I thought it was only in movies where whenever there's a lunatic killer loose and killing everybody and his brother somebody, usually a dame, hears a noise in the henhouse and goes out in the pitch black night to investigate.
And did you ever notice in those same movies there's always a big strong hero who's not afraid of the dark?
I'm a comic, remember? The dark definitely scares us. It's part of our training.
Through the center door enter Elsa, O'Reilly, and Marjorie Baverstock. Marjorie is anywhere from 35 to 60 years of age. She is quite expensively dressed and carries herself like royalty.
Ah, you must be Mr. McEwen, since you're the only one unaccounted for. I'm your hostess, Elsa von Grossenknuten. And of course, you know Miss Baverstock and Mr. O'Reilly, since you rode up with them.
Hardly know, Elsa, as Mr. McEwen was up front with your driver. I didn't get an opportunity to tell you, Mr. McEwen, that I think it's simply divine of you to fill in at the last moment like this.
Well, thanks, but
And this is Miss Crandall. Nikki, darling, I don't believe you've met Miss Baverstock.
As they exchange hellos, Elsa notices Eddie is wearing his coat and one boot.
Do you, have a cold, Mr. McEwen?
No, see, there's been a hitch. I got my dates mixed and I'm due back in New York.
Oh, dear, when?
Well, it would be right now.
Really? But my goodness, I don't know how you'll get there. Perhaps it skipped your attention, but we're having a blizzard.
I know, but...
Well, I know I, for one, would be quite sorry to see you go. I've been hearing such good things about your work. And of course, Ken DeLaMaze, who is directing the audition, knows every agent in Hollywood. Do you have an agent in Hollywood, Eddie?
Crossing to Nikki.
Come on, let's get to work!
What about the slasher?
Let him get his own agent.
Elsa, I can't wait for you to hear the show. It's divine, simply divine. And I have a budget all worked out, even down to the opening night party. We'll hold it at Sardi's, naturally. And if we charge the actors just a teensy cover charge, we'll break even.
Seeing the back of the revolving bookcase,
Elsa, are you redecorating?
she moves the pen holder and the bookcase swings open.
Oh my, the bookcase has been turned. Did someone move the pen holder?
Oh, I guess I did that.
A secret passage, Elsa? Where does it lead?
to other passages. The house is laced with them.
My goodness, Nancy Drew would be in seventh heaven here, wouldn't she? You never told me about this, Elsa. Never.
They're nothing, Marjorie. Just your average, ordinary, everyday secret passages.
She moves the pen holder again, and the revolve goes to its original position.
Was this a stop on the Underground Railway or something?
No.
Then why would you build all these?
My father, who built this house, was Baron Wilhelm von Grossen-Knuten.
She points to the portrait.
You've heard of him?
Well, wasn't there a motion picture about him with Erich von Stroheim, or am I thinking of someone else?
Someone else. Though he was a legend, there has been no motion picture on him.
Obviously, I have him mixed up.
This house was built by him when he left Germany at the end of the war.
He was a general?
He was the Kaiser's chief of espionage and was the most brilliant intelligence mind in European history.
He was a spy?
You have heard, perhaps, of the Dreyfus Papers, the Colonel Weddell letter, the Kreuger telegram, the von Moltke note, the Hotzendorf memo, the von Emmeck shopping list.
Others are shaking their heads.
Events which changed the course of history, with my father at their center, working in clandestine covert alliance, cloaked in an atmosphere of secrecy, stealth, and subterfuge.
But why the secret passages?
It was the only way he could leave the room.
Ken enters.
Is all our company met?
Ken, darling, how divoon!
Marjorie, honey.
They kiss exaggeratedly.
Kids, this is Ken Delamaze, your director. Whom haven't you met, Ken?
Hi, I'm Eddie McEwen. I just did Helsa Poppin' and...
Eddie, we'll go to work shortly, but...
Helsa enters.
Excuse me, gnädige Frau, but I cannot find the meat cleaver.
You need a meat cleaver?
For the hors d'oeuvres, yeah.
Well, if you need it.
Starting out.
My home is yours, everyone. Make yourselves comfortable. I'll be right back. You're sure you mean a meat cleaver, Helsa?
Jawohl.
Elsa and Helsa exit. Crossing to the pen holder.
Ken, darling, look!
She moves pen holder, the bookcase opens and closes.
A secret passage.
So it is. Very like the one I just used in the circular staircase with Paulette Goddard, Laird Krieger, Judith Anderson, Lionel Atwill, George Sanders, Peter Lorre, and John Carradine.
I saw it, Ken, and it was some of your best work.
It hasn't been released yet. Now, cast, as I was saying, we will go to work shortly, but let me remind you that although this is only a backer's audition for an audience of one, it is still theater. So any questions of character or interpretation you have, bring them out. Theater is nothing more or less than life distilled to the pure, clear ring of truth. A ritual as old as...
Roger enters carrying a portfolio of sheet music.
Quick, someone, a martini. I'm in danger of frostbite.
Roger, darling, you look divoon. Divoon.
Oh, Marjorie, sweetheart, I love your new word.
Let me introduce. Actress, this is Roger Hopewell. There to do your music, Roger. Miss Crandall, Mr. McEwen, Mr. O'Reilly.
Your eyes are very blue.
Perhaps I will have a drink now. It makes it so much easier to excuse licentious behavior.
I was not being licentious, Marjorie. A trifle libidinous, perhaps. A bit less lascivious, but not licentious.
What's the difference?
Placement of the tongue, I imagine.
Hen, I didn't see you. How wonderful to be working with you again. I was saying to Bernice on the way here, now our script will have distilled truth and clean rings and new spark plugs and all those wonderful things Ken does. And you are the comic.
Right! You've seen me work?
No, I merely assumed that was why you were only wearing one overshoe.
My gosh, forgot all about it.
He sits on the piano bench and removes it.
I must have that martini.
Above the piano with the martini shaker.
How about our performers? Dare you have a drink before it entice Elsa out of her money?
Oh, no, thank you.
No try now, thanks.
I wouldn't mind a shot of bourbon if you got it.
Bernice Roth. Bernice Roth enters. She is 40 to 50, dresses like a gypsy dancer. Her arms are piled with bracelets which rattle every time she moves.
Hi, gang.
Rushing to embrace her.
Darling!
Bernice, you're looking wonderful.
Bernice, upon hearing her name, turns to go to Ken, and Marjorie misses her, almost kissing the bookcase instead.
Missed you, kid.
Added a bracelet, I see.
Have a drink with us. I'm having a teeny martini.
In that case, I'll have a huge Manhattan.
With a cherry.
Be realistic, Roger.
This cast is Bernice Roth, the librettist. Your cast?
Handing Marjorie a martini.
Martini time.
Hi, gang. Sorry I'm late getting downstairs, but the storm froze the lock on my overnight case, and I've been upstairs heating it with a candle.
Heating the lock?
And the candle kept dripping wax on the rug, so I moved into the closet and set something on fire.
Set what on fire?
Well, see, I don't know, because whatever it was burnt up. Then the maid comes in while I'm kneeling on the floor in the closet under the raging fire and wants to know if I'm Haitian.
Noticing O'Reilly, then to Roger, who is handing her a martini.
His eyes are very blue.
Ain't it something to be working with all these famous people?
I guess so.
Helsa enters with more ice for the bar, which she dumps loudly. She then picks up Eddie's galoshes, coat, hat, etc., all while exchanging glances with O'Reilly. Eddie notices them looking at each other. To Ken.
Ken, love your tan.
It only costs one soul.
May cost us ours. Bernice and I have been asked to do a motion picture later this year. You know who Abbott and Costello are?
Those two guys in the Bobby Clark thing?
Streets of Paris.
Streets of Paris. Well, Universal has signed them, and we've been approached about some songs.
That reminds me. The lead dancer from that show, the boy, Grover Champion.
Oh, we're champion.
We should think about him. I know you're only on the first draft, Bernice, but think about taking that long section where the sailor is telling the girl how beautiful she is and making it a ballet.
I didn't think that section was all that long.
Ever notice in Bernice's writing, every time someone tells a woman how beautiful she is, the scene goes on forever.
That comes from understanding romance, Roger, a subject you are somewhat hazy on.
That comes from writing in front of that smoked mirror you've got over your desk and is what it comes from.
Come on, kids. Let's get to work.
Elsa enters.
Are we all together once more? Are we not? All together. And are we all comfortable?
We're fine, Elsa.
We're about to start rehearsal, Elsa.
Crossing to the French doors.
Does anyone need a refill?
Sure.
She drains her glass.
Heavens, how dark it's getting. And it's only just past 1. Wonderful. The snow just won't stop, will it? What are you having, Bernice?
What's closest?
Helsa enters.
Excuse me, gnädige Frau, but your cook called and is not in.
Slamming down her glass.
Drat! Well, there's nothing for it, but I shall go in the kitchen and whip up a quick lunch. We don't want you hungry for the big show, do we?
Heads for the door.
Come, Helsa, let's see if we remember how to do sauerbraten.
Elsa and Helsa exit.
Sauerbraten?
How inspired. She's chosen a dish that even if she ruined, no one could tell the difference.
I suggest we get started with rehearsals, since that is why we're here.
Is it?
Everyone looks at him.
Hasn't anyone wondered why this particular creative group has been gathered in this particular house?
A backer's audition.
Featuring the team whose last effort was Manhattan Holiday, the show during which B.B. McAllister, Elsa's friend, was murdered. Another drink, Ken. You look as though you need one.
It's just the memory of that horrible time. I had hoped it was forgotten.
Obviously it isn't, though Elsa is eccentric. Though she slithers through life as though she were Gail Sodergaard. Her behavior today strikes me as more batty than usual.
If that's possible.
And I believe we have been gathered for a dual purpose.
Which is?
Well, she wants to observe us. Together.
To what end?
Excuse me, but who was murdered?
Were you in New York 2 years ago?
2 years ago, I was off visiting my old mither in County Cork.
You were visiting a mither?
Someone killed 3 members of our dancing chorus.
And this Keller was a member of the show.
We don't know.
Of course we know. We play New Haven, a murder. Boston, a murder. Philadelphia.
Terrible reviews.
Terrible reviews.
And a murder closes us in New York. Someone with the show, Ken.
See, I told you.
Someone with the show.
And you suspect the Keller is in this house?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but you're not after knowing much about murders. They may occasionally be drawn back to the scene of the crime, but they never, once they are free and away, never would intentionally associate themselves with anyone who could possibly have reason to suspect them.
Hey, how do you know so much about murderers?
My old fither and me feather's feather. God rest their souls, were police officers.
And you're a tenor.
I still think that's why we've been gathered here.
Sounds like a parlour game, Mr. Hopewell. Murder is never so interesting. In real life, it is sudden and filled with rage. Quite emotional, quite messy. No secret passages, just blood-soaked carpets.
Helsa, who has obviously been listening just outside the door in the hall, enters with a tray of hors d'oeuvres and glances quickly in the direction of the French doors. O'Reilly notices her looking.
What blood-soaked carpet?
All look at her.
Excuse me. I thought I heard something about a blood-soaked carpet.
We were talking about real life, Helsa. Though God knows why, since we're here to do a musical comedy.
O'Reilly has walked to the French doors, looking at the carpet.
Fräulein von Grossen-Knitten has asked me to tell you lunch will be served in about 30 minutes. In the meantime, there are hors d'oeuvres.
I suggest we get started with the rehearsal, which, Roger, is the only reason we're gathered here.
Just thought it worth mentioning.
Well, if you believe there to be a killer loose, it's not to stand in front of the bookcase. It's a secret passage.
She pushes the pen holder and the bookcase opens and closes.
Oh, good heavens!
Are we going to work, or shall we all get in pajamas and continue to tell ghost stories? Actors over here. Bernice and Roger at the piano.
Who's been passing the tray.
I'm sorry, there is no bratwurst. Mr. O'Reilly, since you are so interested in things German.
She slams the tray on the piano and exits.
Bernice, Bernice?
Bernice has moved to the chair and is staring at the bookcase that was just moved.
Have you decided how much of the book we are going to do?
What?
The book.
Bernice!
What?
Has the silliness of Roger frightened you?
Oh, no, of course not. I was just thinking, we have nothing to be afraid of here. My God, we're warm and cozy in a lovely old kind of weird house with secret passages and blood-soaked carpets and sort of isolated by a snowstorm.
Elsa enters.
I'm afraid I have a rather troubling announcement. I hope none of you have to reach New York this afternoon because the phone seems to have gone dead.
And the phone seems to have gone dead. Help! We're all gonna be murdered, help!
Bernice runs out center doors. All follow.
Wait, there's nothing to be afraid of.
Blackout. A pause, then music begins. In dark, with lights, we see Roger is playing and singing along with Eddie, Nikki, and O'Reilly. Bernice is by the bar. Marjorie is seated in wing chair down left. They are singing White House Merry-Go-Round, which sounds like this.
Hopkins still in the house.
Harley lost his clout.
You got to know the way.
Who's here today?
President Cornell won't even take your call. Bless
But
your
you're inside of taking a ride.
White House
merry-go-round.
Applauding and gushing.
I love it so far, and so will Elsa. The tunes, the lyrics, divoon, simply divoon.
And let's get on to the second act. It's already 4, and Elsa wants to see this before dinner.
I need to see a man about a dog.
Me too.
And maybe some coffee.
Oh, God, yes.
Coffee is a good idea.
Okay, 10 minutes.
Bernice, Roger, and Marjorie exit.
How's it look so far, Mr. Delamaze?
It's coming.
Would anyone be after wanting anything? I'm going to the kitchen for a spot of hot chocolate. Chicken?
I'd love some.
See if she has tea. No, never mind. I'll come myself.
O'Reilly exits. Eddie steps in front of Ken's exit.
Mr. Delamaze, I noticed you skipped over the section where the taxi driver does an imitation of the Japanese ambassador. Well, you don't have to skip it if you don't want to.
Eddie, I think Roger and Bernice have Bert Lahr in mind for the role of the cab driver.
See, I do a Japanese.
It needs a name in there, you understand.
I was just thinking it would add flavor.
I'd be unfair not to tell you that that's the direction they're looking.
You are surprised I speak your language. I was educated at UCRE.
Eddie, your talent is just as special as Lahr's, but I think it is distilled from a different kind of truth. There will probably be other roles which will ring closer to the quality you project. Okay?
He exits.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Mr. Delamaze. What do you say?
He said no.
All right. Yeah, even if I'm just second banana, this could be the break I've been waiting for. Aren't you excited about this?
They usually get stars for the stuff I'm reading, don't they?
Well, you never know. You live in New York?
Yes.
Whereabouts?
West 64th, between Broadway and Amsterdam.
Yeah, I live on 50th, across from Madison Square Garden.
I used to live near there. 48th, the dance belt.
You live alone, or
I have 2 roommates.
got a boyfriend?
Did have. He joined the Navy last year.
Yeah, Navy's not bad. I've been thinking maybe I should join before I get drafted.
Aren't you a bit old to be drafted?
Yeah, right now, but look at the way things are going. I figure I better get a name in show business, PDQ, so that if I am drafted, I can get into the entertainment section of the Army.
You want to kill him with laughs, huh?
They got such units.
A comics battalion? Yeah, they hit the beach right after the magicians.
It's called Special Services.
Uh-huh. And they pass out ping pong balls.
You know, I'd have known you were a dancer, even if you never said so.
Yeah?
You talk straight out, like a guy. Most dames don't talk that way. Dancers do. Of course, I'm talking showbiz, not ballet.
You date a lot of dancers?
I don't date a lot of anything.
You haven't got a girl?
Nope. See, most dames, they don't want to get serious with a comic. Yeah, but that's okay. That's the way it's laid out.
What's laid out?
The hero gets the girl, the comic gets the laughs.
In the movies.
And in real life. Pretty much the same.
I wouldn't know. I haven't met any heroes.
Met any comics?
Just one. I want to look over that second act ballad.
Nikki crosses to the piano bench, looks at the lead sheets. Eddie watches her.
You believe in chemistry?
Chemistry?
You know, you look at someone and something happens.
I don't know.
It's happening here.
Nikki looks at him.
O'Reilly and the maid. I think we're seeing the start of a hot affair. They really got eyes for each other.
Yeah. Maybe they sense something in common.
Some people believe in it. Chemistry never happened to you?
Nope.
How about your boyfriend?
We grew up together. He was just always there.
Till now.
Yeah.
Actually, it never happened to me either. Chemistry.
Probably just in the movies.
No, it happened to my father.
Did?
From a bus window. He was on the corner. She was on the bus. They saw each other. Wham! He chased that bus for 5 blocks.
What was your mother?
No, some girl. Never saw her again. He used to tell me, Eddie, when it happens, you'll know it's chemical. Just hope it ain't the number 17 to Ozone Park. That's an express.
Nikki laughs and turns back to her music.
Yeah, it can happen. You just gotta be looking for it is all.
He stares dreamily at her. Ken enters, followed by Kelley, rolling a tea cart with a full coffee service, cups, etc. He is followed by Ken, Roger, O'Reilly, Bernice, and Marjorie.
Shall we get back to work?
So how you all doing?
Rolls
Miss-
the cart to downright.
Miss Von Grossing-Newton wanted me to lay out some fresh coffee in here for you.
We just had coffee.
So you won't have to come into the kitchen.
She probably just wants us out of the way while she learns to light the oven.
So you folks are in show business, huh?
Yes. Do you ever attend the theater, Mr.
Kelley, no, not that much. I had a cousin in the Hot Mikado at the World's Fair.
Elsa enters.
Dinner, such as it is, will be around 7. To tide you over, I'll have Helsa bring in some Liederkranz.
We're fine, Elsa. Please don't worry about us.
They are all busy around the piano, and they don't notice Kelley signal to Elsa to begin. Elsa is not too fast on the uptake.
Now?
She goes behind the desk, speaks loudly to get their attention.
Oh, and one other thing.
She looks at Kelley, who is down far right and behind everyone else. He urges her to continue.
Yesterday, when we were cleaning out the guest rooms in anticipation of your arrivals, guess what we found?
She takes the makeup case out of the drawer and sets it on the desk.
Phoebe McAllister's makeup kit. It had somehow been packed in with the other,
She has forgotten the story and looks at Kelley. He pantomimes a showgirl.
showgirl costumes when the show closed and sent to Princeton University.
Showgirl costumes? I thought Princeton was a men's school.
Only in the daytime, obviously.
It's for that show they do. It has a kick line.
Last week, someone there found the case and recognizing the name as one of the murder victims, mailed it to the police.
Kelley signals frantically, not to the police, to you.
Who thereupon mailed it to me. I put it in the closet and forgot about it. Till yesterday. And with all of us reunited, I became curious. I opened it, and what do you think I found?
I don't want to hear this. It's going to be someone's finger or something.
A small notebook.
She looks at Kelley. He smiles and signifies approval by giving her a sign made with thumb and forefinger. She misunderstands.
A round notebook.
A round notebook?
Well, a notebook which was full of
As Kelley is pantomiming writing notes,
notes and
Kelley dials a phone.
little tiny spirals.
What?
Doodles. Phone numbers.
As Kelley has mimed a phone call, now he points to his eye and to book.
And something is in my eye. And no, caught my eye. And
Kelley mimes throwing and catching a ball.
caught my eye. The last appointment.
Kelley draws a finger across his throat.
The night she was murdered.
An appointment with whom?
As Kelley shrugs,
Don't know.
Kelley holds up a finger.
But
He points to his watch.
they were wearing a watch.
Kelley is signaling no.
No. Time. The book gives the time and place.
That night? Probably just appointment to go over a key change or something.
No, couldn't be. The night poor baby was murdered, we were dark. No one was at the theater.
What are you so excited about, Roger?
No one was there.
Kelley is signaling no.
No, they weren't.
Weren't what?
Kelley is mouthing not at the theater.
Singing.
What? Who wasn't singing.
Kelley, still trying to communicate theater, pulls an imaginary curtain rope to indicate the curtain going up.
They weren't singing in an elevator.
By now, she is near tears and frustration.
No, excuse me. I need some coffee.
She crosses down left to whisper to Kelley.
Well, the stage manager was at the theater. I remember because a set designer and I stopped by before going to dinner at Tofanetti's.
Couldn't have been Ken. The stage manager was with me at the Blue Ribbon.
No, Marjorie, I remember distinctly because it was the first dark night and...
I certainly ought to know where my own damn stage manager was, Ken.
Calm down, Marjorie. Why are you so upset?
An alibi, obviously.
Having been coached by Kelley.
No, the note doesn't say the theater. It says the hotel. The night she was murdered, she had an appointment at the hotel.
With whom? No one was there.
We only used a suite there as a staff room.
Why don't we take a look at the book?
I think it much better if I turn it over to the police.
She points to Kelley, realizes she has goofed, and tries to cover up.
In the morning.
Excuse me, Miss Von Grossen.
Newton.
Yes?
Well, maybe you should put that book in a safe place and as far from you as possible. Because if it connects the killer to the murders, he would kill to get it.
But he doesn't know I have it, does he?
Well, he does now.
Really? Mr. McEwen, for that to be true, the killer would have to be in this room.
All look at Roger, who looks at Ken, who looks at Marjorie, who looks at... There's no one behind her.
Oh, let's not be ridiculous. Of course it isn't one of us. We're show people. So, on with Act the Second, as Shakespeare might have said.
He might have, but I doubt if he ever did.
Do you mind if I watch a bit, Ken? You know how I adore the rehearsal process.
It will spoil the audition for you, Elsa.
I shan't stay long. Just a soupçon.
No, really, I insist you.
This is my house.
Oh, for
As
God's sake, Marjorie, let her stay. I need to get started.
Indicating a wing chair down left.
Sit here, Elsa.
Elsa sits.
Act 2 begins with...
Helsa enters with a pot.
We already have coffee.
Elsa.
Hi.
Is it me? I'm completely lost. What page are we on?
31 near the top. Helsa enters with the pot.
Von Grossen mentioned that Herr O'Reilly preferred chocolate.
All right. Bernice, second act, please.
Helsa slams chocolate on tea cart and exits. O'Reilly watches, frowning.
Okay. White House merry-go-round Act 2. It opens in the Senate chambers. On stage are Biff and Trudy. There are also some page boys.
Sounds divoon. Simply divoon.
During this, O'Reilly crosses to the chocolate, pours some, and smells it. No one notices except Kelley, who is moved so as to be behind O'Reilly and to observe him.
Excuse me.
He puts down the chocolate without drinking it.
What is it now?
Sure, now I fear the hot chocolate is gone and giving me a terrible headache. I notice I am not needed in this number, so if you don't mind, I will step out for some aspirin.
Kelley signals her to go on with O'Reilly.
Oh, you poor dear boy. There's some in the kitchen. I'll get it for you.
Thank you.
Yep. And as he and Elsa exit the room.
Thank you.
Come right back.
That's the format. Here's how it goes. Trudy is opening mail from Biff's constituents, all of whom have advice on how to run the country. This leads to the opener. Everyone can do it better.
Okay, so following Bernice's intro, we do the number. Roger?
Pointing to Eddie and Nikki.
Biff, Trudy, And I'll do all the page boys.
I think you will.
Have a drink, Marjorie. The coach your tongue.
Roger is on piano bench. Nikki and Eddie are in the crook of the piano. Ken is sitting in center chair. Bernice is to his right. Kelley is down right, and Marjorie has sat down in the wing chair down left. Roger plays an arpeggio, and suddenly the lights go black. We hear dialogue in the dark.
What happened?
Try the light switch.
Where is it?
We hear the sound of someone bumping into something.
Ouch!
Everyone just stand still. It may be a power failure. I'm going to the basement.
Are there any candles?
We hear a small, stifled scream.
What was that?
An owl.
In the library?
This is making me very nervous.
Calm down, Bernice.
Hey, I'm not Bernice. Stop rubbing my neck.
I'm sorry.
Let's all remain calm. Okay, it's probably the snowstorm. I'm sure Miss Von Grossen-Knuten will be here soon with the candles.
Listen, are we all here? Are we? Didn't I hear the tiniest scream a moment ago?
Yes, I bumped into the chair.
We're all here, Bernice.
That's Roger and Ken. This is me, the performers.
I'm here.
And me.
And Marjorie.
The lights come on. Marjorie is there. She still sits in her chair, but now about 2 feet of sword stick out the back of it. She is obviously pinned to the chair in death, but no one notices. Up center above the door, there is only one sword hanging instead of two. Elsa enters.
Lights are back. Everyone all right? I think it's because I plugged in the toaster.
But we're fine, Elsa. We're moving as quickly as we can.
No hurry. I haven't even started the white sauce.
She exits.
White sauce?
On sauerbraten?
Come on back to work, kids.
From the top.
Roger, Eddie, and Nikki do the song Everyone Can Do It Better, which sounds exactly always in every rendition like this.
Everyone can do it better. From the East Coast to the West.
They all know what's really best for
For
the
the
USA. Anyone can write a letter about the way that he or she wants to run this country.
If they
have their way, they all know just what to do about internal revenue and the kind of bones.
That's all I ought to.
Yeah!
can do it
Better. And after all this advice, darling, it feels very nice to be here with you.
Take it home.
'Cause when it comes to us, no one does it better than just we two.
During the song, Bernice has walked over to Marjorie for a reaction, stays, soliciting it, finally, getting none, goes back to center, very upset. At end of song, all look to Marjorie for a response again. Naturally, there is none.
I don't think she liked it.
She's smiling. See? She's just not being vocal.
Well, following that number, which will be catchier and funnier, or maybe cut if you hate it that much.
Bernice, let's go.
No. I mean, that's the second act opener, and if she hates it.
Crossing to kneel next to Marjorie.
All right. Marjorie, do you hate it, or is Bernice going through a typical attack of paranoia?
Marjorie, honey, we're all friends here. I mean, if you've got something to say, let's say it now, not sit there acting like a typical producer.
Suddenly, the revolving bookcase moves, and Kelley steps out, gun in hand.
Someone pull the main power. Has anyone...
Kelley notices Marjorie, crosses to her, and pulls out sword. She falls to her knees and head on floor. Kelley and Ken stare at her in this ridiculous position. Finally, Ken gives her a slight push, his finger against her hips. Slowly, she collapses onto her back. Nikki rushes to her, feeling her pulse.
She's dead.
Dead, oh my God.
Going to Bernice.
Well, that should make you feel better. At least it wasn't the song.
Has anyone come into the room from the passageway and out of the door?
I was by the door. They'd have had to pass through me. Oh my God.
I'll check the hall.
He exits.
How about here?
He goes to the French doors.
Call the police!
Police! Police! Police!
phone, Bernice.
Phone is dead, remember?
The closet!
The closet.
The closet.
The phone is in the closet?
Bernice opens the closet door. A dead Helsa, clad in panties and bra, falls forward and right into Bernice's arms.
Roger, would you hold this for a moment, please?
Roger grabs Helsa. Bernice walks down, getting lower and lower, and faints dead away. Eddie looks at the three bodies lying on the stage, crosses to Ken by leaping over Bernice.
Does this mean the show's canceled?
Ken looks at him. End of Act 1. Act 2. At Rise, Nikki is left. Bernice is below the piano with an ice pack on her head. Roger is coming down center, shaking a martini shaker. The wind howls. A dog howls. The clock is striking 5.
I should have listened to my numerologist. She said stay out of Westchester County. It adds up to death and decay.
Poor Marjorie. She had so many things to live for. Though at the moment, I can't think of a single one.
I fear Elsa has brought the stage door slasher to Chappaqua.
You think? It couldn't just be someone who wanted Marjorie dead? The Schuberts, maybe?
What about Helsa?
Eddie, Ken, and Kelley enter.
We put them in a snowdrift. It's the best we could do under the circumstances. It's a blizzard out there. You can't see a foot in front of you.
Or the rest of the body, for that matter.
Is this coffee hot? Jeez, it's brutal out there.
This hot chocolate?
Don't touch that.
What?
Hey, I'm no expert, but that stuff smells to me like it was poisoned. I noticed just before the lights went out that O'Reilly sniffed it and wouldn't. Hey, where the hell is he anyway?
That's the $64 question.
Going to the tea cart.
Elsa probably used too much salt.
You put salt in hot chocolate?
Sure. Should be only a tad, of course, but it really gives it some snap.
I've never thought of that. I've tried a dab of nutmeg, but I didn't find that to be...
Nutmeg and hot chocolate?
Hey, could we leave the recipe exchange till tomorrow? We've got a killer on the loose here.
Elsa enters with a roll of dusty blueprints.
I found the blueprints
What blueprints?
of the estate. Since whoever cut off the power escaped through the tunnels, I thought if we examined these, we might find details of those passages. Then we could foray into the walls to look for clues. I'll put together a picnic lunch in case we get lost.
Examining the blueprints.
These just show the house. These don't show the passageways.
Of course not. They're secret.
Right now, I want everybody where I can see them.
And I want to look for clues.
I'm in charge of this investigation, and I say you're staying here.
Investigation? What investigation?
A murder investigation. I'm a cop.
Why are you telling them?
Because this has gone too far for adventures, Miss Grossig Newton. I'm Sergeant Michael Kelley of the New York City Police Department, here on the case of the stage door slasher.
So it's not an audition?
Only for a killer, it seems.
Just my luck.
I told you. But did you listen? No, I'm just a silly songwriter. I did go to the Boston Conservatory, you know.
I think this exposure unwise, Sergeant.
The killer is working too damn fast. He didn't go for you and the notebook. He went for someone who obviously could expose him somehow. And not just once. We have 2 murders, maybe 3, maybe 4, if we count O'Reilly.
Who was maybe 3?
There are bloodstains by the French door.
But nobody else is missing.
Nobody that we know about.
You mean there could be someone missing who wasn't here in the first place?
But if you're the police, what was all this business about notifying them in regard to BB's book?
A setup.
I was to be the bait, Roger. When the killer came for me and the notebook, the sergeant would capture him. Clever, yes?
It was, until you told us all about it.
Obviously, some other people were more dangerous to the killer than this book.
Perhaps it's a combination of that book and those other people that worried the killer. With them out of the way, the book is useless.
That's exactly the way I got it pegged, miss.
I still maintain we should examine these blueprints. The chase is half the fun.
Let me get this straight. All that nonsense about BB's notebook was just made up in order to...
No. The book is real, Mr. McCoy. The book is the real McCoy, sent to the department from Princeton last week, and it contains information that made us reopen this case.
What sort of information?
Well, look at this last entry.
He gives the book to Ken. Roger rushes to look also.
Piccadilly, 10:20.
My God,
What is it, Bernice?
I just got the new second act opener.
She rushes to the desk.
Give me a pen.
She moves the pen holder and the bookcase revolves.
So annoying.
She moves it again and the bookcase closes.
Well, the Piccadilly was our hotel in New York. What's the 1020?
Your room.
My room?
And the rest of the artistic staff. It's B.B. McAllister's last appointment, the night of the murder.
Oh, yes, that was all that stuff that Elsa was talking about earlier. Well, obviously, it didn't worry the killer too much.
Why should it? The staff suite. My God, I mean, the key was left at the desk. Everyone, designers, stage manager, everyone had access to those rooms. You reopened the investigation based on that one appointment?
We were hoping it might lead to something.
Well, obviously it didn't.
Obviously it did. There are 2 people dead.
Wait a second. The thing I can't figure is why BB was in the hotel at all. Show's off the road, everyone's staying at home. It's a day off when the murder happens. Now, what's a chorus girl do on her day off?
All look at Nikki.
Huh? Oh. Well,
Sleeps.
well, she certainly wouldn't go near where a murderer was loose.
I would think BB would want to spend that time with friends. Wouldn't you, Elsa?
Poor BB had many dear friends, Ken.
Too many?
Well, there's a list following the appointment in parentheses. 22, 2 shoes, Leo. Then a series of numbers, 2, 8, 8, 1, 2, 9. Leo could be something astrological.
Isn't 22 a type of gun?
Caliber, yeah. We wondered about that, but there was no gun involved.
22, 2, 2.
What?
Crossing to look at the notebook.
2, 2, 2 shoes, Leo, leotard. Sounds like the appointment was for a ballet class. Though, why'd she wear a tutu is beyond me.
What's it look like?
A tutu? It's a little skirt, very stiff, sticks out in front like...
Ken, Roger, and Eddie all in line, all mime tutu at the same time as Nikki.
She had it on.
What?
We didn't release that to the press. She had it on. So did the other 2.
Murdered in a tutu?
How were they wearing their hair?
Hair?
Yeah, was that the same too?
Well, now that you mentioned it, it was. Tight, kind of pulled back like a school teacher.
Ballet dancers. The slasher was killing ballet dancers.
Why?
He probably sat through the CP days one time too many.
What I mean is they were dressed like ballet dancers, as if it was some kind of audition or act.
Anyone want to hear the new lyric? I think I've just got the real flavor of Washington with it. It's called Ways, Means, and Mischief.
She crosses to the piano bench.
I'll take it from the chorus.
Helsa appears in the hall with a feather duster. Only Bernice sees her at first, and with a loud bang on the piano keys, collapses on the floor in a faint.
Poor Bernice, she works herself much too hard.
Helsa.
You're dead.
Haskell, my God.
I beg your pardon.
Maybe the cold revived her.
Don't anybody move.
He runs out.
Was ist los?
Elsa, we saw you half naked and dead fall from the closet into Bernice's arms.
Remembering that Bernice is still out cold,
Oh, Bernice.
runs to revive her.
Perhaps it was someone else. I was in the basement gathering potatoes for the vichyssoise.
Running back in,
She's still out there, dead.
Who is dead?
Elsa, have you a twin?
Yeah, two. I'm of triplets, sisters, but they are in Germany.
Helsa, someone who looks very like you was murdered here this afternoon.
I will look.
Come this way.
She starts to exit, stops.
My mother and father worked in Berlin as laborers in the government printing plant. In 1923, they died. When a carton which contained marks the equivalent of $5 American fell on them, and they were crushed. My sisters and I were raised by relatives. We saw each other only at Weihnachtsabend, when we met to decorate the Weihnachtsbaum und give out Weihnachtsgeschenke.
Gesundheit.
My point is, I did not know my sisters.
She exits, followed by Kelley.
That woman has absolutely no sense of humor.
Did Elsa accompany you out of town during Manhattan holiday?
No, Elsa was here at the house.
My gosh. Identical triplets, a homicidal maniac, secret passages?
Yeah, it's beginning to look like one of those Hollywood mysteries you direct, Mr. Delamaze.
I didn't know you directed a mystery, Ken.
One, Murder at the Biltmore, with William Powell, Myrna Loy, Sidney Blackmer, Ralph Bellamy, Ned Pendleton, Louise Albritton, and Alicia Cook Jr.
Has that been released?
No, have you seen it?
I think so.
Helsa enters to center. All stare, waiting for a reply.
I don't think she looks a think like me.
She crosses downright and starts wheeling the tea cart out the door.
But Helsa,
Entering.
She's the spitting image.
Was either of your sisters a ballet dancer by any chance?
Dancers, Gott in Himmel no. Hilda lives in Strasslund, working in a boatyard making sails. Herkel lives in Stuttgart, where she waits tables in the beer garden. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must get back to this dinner.
So wait, you're saying that's not your sister out there?
Anything is possible, but I believe my sisters to be in Germany.
That woman out there is an exact likeness.
My Großvater was a merchant seaman out of Bremen. Perhaps he put ashore in Brooklyn. It is only a train ride to here, nicht wahr?
Starts to go, stops.
Oh, Mr. O'Reilly is dead also?
Oh, we don't know.
Helsa runs out, pushing the cart ahead of her.
I told you she had eyes for him. 2 murders and all she's concerned for is O'Reilly.
obviously Helsa is lying. I can't imagine why.
She's covering for him.
Listen, I thought espionage was in your blood.
It is. It's just a little sluggish at the moment.
Maybe her sister was on her way here and was killed before Helsa knew she arrived.
So why wouldn't she identify her?
Perhaps Helsa's sister is the slasher.
If her sister is the slasher, then who slashed her?
Okay, it's all too confusing.
No, it's simple. Look, you got a sister who's a servant in Chappaqua, a sister selling sausage and sauerkraut in Stuttgart, and a sister sewing sails somewhere.
Strassland.
So, either Helga from Stuttgart or Hilda from Strassland, while seeking her sister in a snowstorm in a swanky, secluded section of Chappaqua, is hacked by a homicidal halfwit who thinks Hilda or Helga is Elsa. Now, ask yourself why.
Ask myself why? I don't even know what you just said.
Ask myself why what?
Not why what, why who?
Who? Why?
Pauses.
Who? What?
Looking out front to you, that's what he says.
Why? What?
No. Not why, who, what. Why, what?
Why, who, what, why?
What? What?
Because before you ask who, you have to ask why.
And how?
How what?
I was just agreeing. And how?
Maybe it depends on when.
When
When
what?
what?
Please, if you're gonna do that again, I need another drink.
She crosses to the bar.
Let me see that book.
Could Helsa be the stage door slasher? Well, it's what we're all thinking, right?
Oh, that's what we're all thinking. But why would Helsa murder 3 women?
Jealousy.
Of whom?
Of your friends, of course. You said you had many.
I said Bibi had many.
Really, Roger, if you're going to take that take the thoughts of others and twist them, I prefer you stick to Jerome Kern. You do that so much better.
I do not steal from Jerome Kern.
He certainly does not.
Thank you, Bernice.
It's Sigmund Romberg.
Oh, fine. Let's all be viciously funny about my talent. It strikes me as an exceptionally transparent attempt to get us off the subject, which one of us might have had a motive.
All right, shall we begin with the well-known fact that you hate dancers?
Not true. I only hate them when they sing.
You did demand those 3 girls be removed from the numbers.
But not with a knife.
My point is we could come up with a motive for any one of us. Even me. They were all pregnant or something, but I didn't think the killer is in the room.
What about O'Reilly? We haven't seen him since the blackout.
He may be dead.
Or in those tunnels.
Well, we won't know if we don't look. I'm going to serve dinner. And then I suggest an armed foray into those walls.
She stops at the door.
There's another possibility. Perhaps Helsa is her sister.
What?
Just something that happened earlier. When I attempted to kiss her good morning. Something different.
She exits.
She kisses her maid good morning?
He looks at the others. When he looks at Roger, Roger shrugs elaborately.
Okay, now, I want to get to solving this thing. So I want to reconstruct the moment before the crime. I want you all to show me where you were standing when the lights went out.
Oh, you've got to be kidding.
No, this can work. Ellery Queen does it all the time.
All right. Let's try it. I was here. Bernice, where were you?
She was
I
over
was
there.
behind the chair.
We were here.
All go to their positions, indicating the wing chair.
And poor Marjorie was over there.
Looking at them one by one.
Well,
He ends up behind the wing chair and looks at them again.
This doesn't tell me a goddamn thing.
Well, I, for one, do not think we should let Elsa alone in the kitchen with Helsa.
He exits.
Wait a second, Ken. I want to read you the new second act opening.
Personally, I thought what we had originally was fine.
Marjorie hated it.
Marjorie was dead, Bernice. I don't think you should allow a dead woman's opinion to influence you.
Roger and Bernice exit.
I can't believe one of them could be the slasher.
Nah, I doubt that they are. I've got a whole other theory.
You come into the kitchen?
She's reading Baby's notebook.
In a sec.
You find something interesting?
It's addresses, appointments, and a kind of log. She refers to things she's done that day. See? LN with small w/K.
Lunch with Kathy. Another dancer in the show? We already checked these notes out. The ones that we could make sense of anyway.
I think it's a code.
Code? Why would she keep a code?
Every so often, there's nothing but a list of numbers.
Phone numbers.
But there's not always an exchange. Here's Edincott, Murray Hill, but then rows of numbers. It's a code.
Bank accounts, maybe? Secret bank accounts!
Yeah, maybe.
I've got a theory, and it's based upon plain old-fashioned police work.
Hey, maybe serial numbers!
Observation. Observation is the key. And if I'm right, then someone is in very great danger. And I think I know who that someone...
As he has said this, the bookcase behind him, upright, begins to slide open. An arm comes out as he speaks, choking Kelley around the throat, pulls him back into the opening. The wall slides shut. Eddie and Nikki, bent over the notebook, see nothing of this.
Maybe the numbers are letter substitutes.
Where'd you learn about that?
When you were a kid, didn't you ever send away to Orphan Annie or Jack Armstrong for a secret decoder?
Don Winslow of the Navy. I got a ring.
Well, I'll use the Orphan Annie system. Let's try to break it.
What we need is paper.
He pulls open a desk drawer. This causes a section of the bookcase downstairs left to slide open, revealing another passage.
Holy mackerel, the desk drawer! Hey, sir!
He looks for Kelley.
Gee, where'd the cop go?
My gosh, another tunnel.
This joint has more surprises than Sal Hepatica.
There are steps leading down.
Are you nuts? Don't go in there.
I want to see what's down here.
She enters tunnel.
If you run into the slasher, don't plie.
It looks like a wine cellar.
Great, now come back up. I can't believe you're doing this when there's a killer loose.
The upstage left bookcase revolves, and a figure dressed in a black trench coat, black slouch hat, and a black hood over its face with eye holes cut out steps on stage. Eddie, who's looking into the tunnel down left, does not see or hear the figure.
I mean, there's someone, maybe a raving maniac in this house with a knife or a saber, and you're walking around down there in the dark instead of staying up here in the light where it's safe.
Figure is at the desk reaching for the notebook when Eddie turns and sees it.
Oh my God! Hi, can I help you? All the dancers are out right now, but if you'd care to leave a message.
The figure pulls out an enormous straight razor.
No thanks, I shaved earlier. Besides, I have a regular barber, Frank at the Astor. You know him?
The figure lunges at him.
Ah, I get it. You think I'm a dancer. That agent of mine, he'll tell anybody anything to get me work. No, I'm a comic.
Figure lunges again. Eddie scurries under the piano. Figure hops up on the piano bench. Eddie, on all fours, looks for the figure under the piano. Nothing. Eddie peeks over the top of the piano, but the figure ducks. Eddie looks under. Figure goes back up on bench. Eddie starts crawling to upstage center on all fours. Figure runs behind him with razor. Eddie crawls downstage center, followed by the figure. Eddie thinks the figure is gone, so he stands up and brushes himself off. As he brushes his knees, he also brushes the knee of the figure, who has placed a foot between Eddie's. Eddie looks down, again, just as the figure slashes with the razor. Eddie runs for the door, followed by figure. They are both stopped by Nikki's voice from the tunnel.
There are more passages down here.
Figure spins and, holding razor high, runs towards tunnel.
In addition to being a comic, I'm also a ventriloquist. Throw my voice anywhere. Wine cellars.
Eddie!
The figure steps towards the tunnel. Eddie dashes to the desk and slams the drawer shut. Wall closes in Figure's face. Figure spins towards Eddie. Eddie grabs notebook.
Looking for this?
Figure starts for Eddie. Eddie runs out center door. Figure is heading for the door when the closet opens and out steps Helsa. Figure and Helsa face each other for a moment. Helsa is holding up meat cleaver. Figure is holding up a razor. Both scare each other. Helsa darts back into the closet. Figure disappears into revolving bookcase. Down left wall slides open and Nikki re-enters.
Eddie, why'd you Eddie?
Running back in.
Ollie, and free. Hey, where'd he go? Where'd he go? I'll clip him, so help me, I'll mow him down.
Eddie, did you shut me in there as some kind of joke?
How'd you get out of there?
There's a lever next to the door.
The slasher was here.
The slasher was here?
Well, you were down there, right here, in a long raincoat with a bag over his head.
What'd he look like?
Like somebody in a long raincoat with a bag over his head.
No, I mean tall, short.
Who knows? Both, maybe. I was busy looking at the razor.
Oh, let's go tell the others.
No, it could be one of them.
He holds up the notebook.
He was after this, but I grabbed it and ran.
You did? Gee, Eddie, you're kind of brave.
Nah, just fast. See when you play some of the joints I play.
He's looking around for a safe place to hide the notebook.
Which one of them do you think it is?
Well, I got a theory based on observation.
He has opened the desk drawer to put the notebook away, but that opened the down left wall. O'Reilly enters from the passage with a gun. He is behind Eddie and Nikki, who do not see him. Eddie tosses notebook in the drawer and closes it, which closes bookcase, just as O'Reilly has wheeled to go back into the passage.
O'Reilly!
We thought you were dead!
Standing where the bookcase is closed in his face, quickly hides the gun, pulls out a handkerchief, and holds it to his forehead.
Sure, and so did somebody else. I was hit on my head and left to die.
He staggers to the center chair.
When was this?
When I was going for an aspirin.
Hope you got a chance to take a couple.
When I come to, I find myself in a tunnel and I've had the devil's own time trying to get out.
There have been 2 murders here.
And what's more, it isn't even an audition. It's a setup to catch the slasher.
Murders? Who?
Miss Barber-Steele and someone who's either Helsa, Hilda, or Helga.
Was?
Someone who we think is Helsa's twin sister.
Fell right out of that closet.
Her sister, was it? And Helsa? She all right?
Yeah, fine. Don't worry.
He winks at Nikki.
Was she now?
About you
Faith, and she's a fine soup of a lass. I believe I'll have a spot of brandy to ward off the chill.
Sit still, I'll get it.
He crosses to the bar.
So, how long have you been in this country, Mr. O'Reilly?
What?
I asked how long you'd been in America. You are Irish-born.
As Paddy's car.
And where in Ireland are you from?
Sure, you're familiar with Ireland, Colleen.
I've never been there, no?
Eddie hands O'Reilly a drink.
Where there's a spot in County Blarney, which is the sun coming over the McNamara Mountains, hits first, waking the fine village of McGillicuddy to another of God's days. It's there that I'm from, and it's there that I'll be ever be.
You ought to know better than to ask an Irishman where he's from. We could have been here all night.
Sipping his drink.
Sure, and as it's the warming as a bog of peat in August.
Have I seen you in anything on Broadway, Mr. O'Reilly?
With a deadly smile.
Are you writing a book about me, miss?
And Elsa entering with a tiny dinner bell.
Dinner is served. Oh, Mr. O'Reilly, you've returned to us.
Somebody hit him on the head and left him to die.
My dear, we've unleashed something horrible in this house tonight. However, the vichyssoise is ready, and where's Sergeant Kelley?
I don't know. Isn't he with you?
Perhaps he went to wash up. Come along, everyone else is in the dining room. Let's eat so we can get down to the serious business of the evening.
Elsa exits. O'Reilly puts glass down on piano and follows her out.
I don't think he's Irish.
Easy enough to tell. We'll give him some more brandy and see if he starts to fight, sing, or write a poem.
As they are exiting, O'Reilly re-enters.
Agora, I went and forgot me drink.
He's alone in the room. He closes the door.
Dinner is served, Helsa. Helsa, they tell me your sister is dead. Are you in mourning? Helsa, come out. I think we should talk.
He pulls a revolver from his coat and cocks it. He moves the penholder, bookcase pivots. No one is there. He walks to the bookcases, studying them for another panel. He's backing up center when suddenly Helsa bursts out of the closet, screaming in fury and brandishing the meat cleaver. He whirls just in time to duck as she plants the cleaver into a book. It stays there. She slams his wrist against the wall, forcing him to drop the gun. She lunges for the letter opener on the desk. He tries to stop her, but misses. They meet center, struggling. She twists free and drives the blade upward. It slices through O'Reilly's belt. His trousers fall to his ankles. He grabs Helsa, forcing her back across the desk, and the letter opener falls. They now commence attempting to strangle each other, making loud and fierce sounds of exertion. Helsa, who is bent back across the desk, throws her legs around O'Reilly's back to lock him to her. At this point, Eddie enters.
Oh, excuse me. I didn't mean to. They sent me back for the wine and, I'm not looking, just going for wine. Don't let me interrupt. Gee, they didn't say if they wanted white or red. I'll just take one of each.
He crosses back to the door.
Sorry to have bothered you. I'll tell them to save you something.
Nikki enters. He puts a hand over her eyes.
Hey, don't look. O'Reilly and the maid.
At this point, Helsa breaks an arm loose and unloads a terrific right on O'Reilly.
Gee, and they were getting along so well.
I'm going for help.
She runs out.
Hey, ask whether we're having meat or fish.
Helsa runs through the revolving bookcase. O'Reilly scrambles for the gun and follows her out. Nikki, Ken, Elsa, and Roger run on center.
Where'd they go?
Into the wall.
He's trying to kill her. We've got to help.
Help how?
Where's that cop?
I'm going into that tunnel.
Are you crazy? Don't go in there.
It's useless to try and stop her, believe me.
We can't just stand here and do nothing.
Entering, carrying a bottle of wine and glass.
Sure we can.
We need to trap him from 2 directions.
Spreading the blueprints out on the floor.
Look, Nikki, you're going in through here. I'll enter from the billiard room.
That's the billiard room?
Yes.
Interesting you would place it over here next to the parlor.
Well, it used to be next to the music room, you see, but
I would have put it closer to the solarium.
Can we hold the architectural discussion till later? I mean, he may be killing her. I'm going in.
I'll go with you. 2 can die as easy as 1.
Getting a flashlight from the desk.
here, take this flashlight so you can see what you're up against.
See it? Who wants to see it?
Play the radio very loud. That way we can always find this room.
If you can find the red network of NBC, Phil Spatani and his all-girl orchestra is on right now.
Eddie and Nikki have gone into revolving passage up left. Roger turns on the radio.
I warn you, it's a labyrinth in there. Stay close together.
We hear Jeannie with the light brown hair.
Please, Roger, anything but that.
Roger spins the dial. The radio. Buried under snow in this blizzard, fast-reaching, catastrophic proportions. Transportation has halted. Governor Lehman and Mayor LaGuardia have declared that a state of emergency.
Oh, my God, all we need now is the power failure.
The lights go out.
From your mouth to God's ears.
There are storm lanterns in the pantry. Come help me get them.
Damn it, I just bumped into the piano.
That was my head.
Are you coming, Roger?
Are you still sitting on the floor, Bernice?
I'm not moving until the lights come back on. I'm just going to sit here with this bottle of wine and relax.
All right, Bernice, we'll come back for you. Come on.
Elsa, Roger, and Ken exit. A pause. Then we hear Bernice singing.
There's mischief in Washington, and guess who has to pay?
The closet door starts to creak open. Bernice stops singing, listens a moment, then continues.
There's mix-ups in Washington, and guess who? Who?
Another noise. She calls out pleasantly.
Who is it?
Helsa darts out of the closet holding a candle, wearing a coat, and carrying a small bag. She heads for the French doors, sees Bernice, and crosses quickly to her. Helsa pulls out a butcher knife and places it at Bernice's throat.
You have not seen me.
Not in years.
Helsa crosses to the French doors but cannot get them open.
Ach, das ist eingefroren.
From offstage.
Ken, where are you?
Also
In
off.
the corridor.
Helsa moves quickly back to Bernice and puts the knife at her throat.
I am going back into that closet. You will not tell them that you saw me.
My lips are sealed.
If you tell, I will drag you into the tunnels where no one can find you. Have you ever been stripped, tied to a wall, and whipped? Well?
Do I have to answer that?
From offstage. Elsa from offstage.
Ah, here's the library.
Helsa, running back to the closet door, turns to Bernice.
Remember, one word and you die.
She dashes into the closet just as Elsa, Roger, and Ken enter, carrying lanterns.
She's in the closet. She's in the closet.
Who?
Helsa, she's in the closet.
Really? What is that?
She opens the closet. Helsa stands poised with the knife raised. Elsa screams.
Ah!
My God.
Elsa and Ken slam the closet door shut and lock it.
Just keep her locked up till help comes.
I'm going for that police officer. Stay here in case he comes out of the walls.
She
Out of
exits.
the wall. Out of the walls? Oh, yes. I forgot we're visiting the House of Usher.
Getting
Out
up.
of the walls? Out of the walls. That's it, Roger. The second act opener should be a waltz.
Waltz?
Dick Rogers does one every show, Ken.
Bernice, this is hardly the place, and it certainly isn't the time.
Isn't the time, Roger? Isn't the time? I'm creating. Don't tell me this isn't the time. The contractions are beginning, and he tells me this isn't the time. I've been stopped from giving birth a lot here tonight, Ken.
The bookcase down left opens and O'Reilly steps out.
Has anyone seen the maid?
She's in the closet.
O'Reilly starts for the closet.
He's got a butcher knife.
I've got a gun.
What's an Irish tenor doing with a gun?
I'm not Irish. I'm Italian.
Showing off Kelley's badge.
Lieutenant Tony Garibaldi, NYPD, working undercover on the case of the stage door slasher. The maid is a slasher and she's on her way up the river. Okay, Wenzel, the jig's up. Come out with your hands high. You hold me, Wenzel, you're trapped. Okay, Wenzel, I'm counting to 10. 1, 2, 3.
He's counting in German.
Well, Helsa's German.
4, 5,
Fünf.
5.
No wonder they so broke up over there.
8,
Work over there.
9, 10.
Actually, she couldn't come out even if she wanted to. The door's locked.
Well, unlock it.
Ken unlocks the door and opens it as they stand back. Eddie steps out, blinking.
Hi! Boy, am I glad to see you. The flashlight went out and we've been wandering around in pitch black. Would have gotten separated, but I held her hand and led her through the tunnels. Come on, Nikki, we're back in the house.
He reaches his hand back and pulls out Kelley, who is bound with his tie and gagged with a napkin.
Where'd you come from? What happened to Nikki? What?
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. I can't understand a thing you're saying because you got a gag in your mouth.
Removes the gag.
Now, what did you say?
I said, take the goddamn gag out of my mouth.
Eddie unties Kelley's hands.
Did you just pass the maid in there?
Who knows? It's too dark to see anything.
Elsa is a stage door slasher.
Helsa? Wait a minute. And she's in there with Nikki?
I'll take care of these.
Eddie starts for the closet. Kelley grabs him.
No, hold it. This is a job for the police.
But he is the police. Lieutenant Tony somebody.
He's working on the slasher case.
Out of where?
Headquarters.
What division?
Eerie crime.
Erie Crimes Division.
Yeah, it's a new thing. The commissioner just put it together.
You got a badge.
Of course he has a badge. He just showed it to us.
Come on, pal. Let's see some ID.
Sure.
Takes a step back, cocking and leveling the gun.
Hands up! Everyone over there! Move! Move! Move!
He motions to the wall right. All the men run to the right with hands up. O'Reilly has crossed to the desk to pick up a lantern, sees Bernice sitting there, and gestures, nah.
It's my badge, right? You're the son of a bitch that conked me on the head, right?
I needed the ID. Almost worked. Till Bumblenuts here spoiled everything.
Hey, just a minute.
Elsa enters from the door with a lantern.
I can't find that police officer anywhere.
Careful, Elsa.
They're waving at her to go back. She mistakes it for a greeting.
Oh, hello, everyone.
Hands up and stop your squawking, sister.
What's gotten into Mr. O'Reilly?
He's not O'Reilly.
I am Klaus Stansdorf of the Greinheim Stadtpolizei,
The Gestapo?
temporarily assigned to the German consulate in New York as a cultural attaché.
What's the Gestapo want with the stage door slasher?
What I want is for you, Sergeant Kelley, to take the lantern and lead the way into the closet.
You can go to hell.
Bitter, Sergeant Kelley. I could easily have killed you before, but I didn't. Why not? Professional courtesy. Take the lantern. I suggest the rest of you turn your heads as the bullet from this gun makes quite a large hole.
As O'Reilly levels the gun at Kelley, Nikki comes from the door and puts a revolver at O'Reilly's head.
Don't make a move, Daddy-O. You'll be pushing up daisies.
She flashes ID.
Ensign Nicole Crandall, United States Naval Intelligence.
Taking the gun away from O'Reilly.
We're going to need some rope.
In the pantry. I'll get it.
I'll go with her. I'll go with her. She shouldn't be alone.
He exits.
Well, I'm not staying here with all these guns waving around. Bernice?
From the desk where she's writing.
Scotch and soda.
Oh, never mind.
Exits.
Up against the piano, Krauthead.
Nikki has O'Reilly spread-eagled against the piano and is frisking him on his inner thigh.
Hey, where'd you learn to do that?
Basic training.
That's pretty basic, all right.
Moving O'Reilly up against the upright bookcase.
Okay, Ensign, I'll take over.
Naval intelligence, I'll be damned.
We've been after this guy for 3 weeks.
No wonder you were always walking into tunnels. You were packing a heater in your handbag.
This cat a spy or something?
Worse. He's a saboteur. His name is Dieter Wenzel.
You have the wrong man.
Shut your trap.
Wenzel?
That's right. Helsa's brother.
What's he doing here?
The Nazis landed this guy and 5 others on Long Island 3 weeks ago. We caught 4 of them in Sag Harbor posing as novelists.
My name is Klaus Stansdorf.
Baloney! The saboteurs had false identities, $500,000, and a mission to blow up installations all over this country to effectively retard our nation's communication system.
Gee, I thought the post office was already taking care of that.
But this guy and a guy named Franz Becker decided the money was more important than the fatherland and took off with the do-re-mi.
So where's this guy's buddy, Becker?
The Katzenjammer kid here bumped him off for the greenbacks. Right, Fitz?
Wrong. I killed Becker because he was a traitor, Dumpelkopf.
Hey, who you calling Dumpelkopf?
Her I'm calling Dumpkopf. You I call Bumblenuts.
Just wanted to get that straight.
Say, so how did you get on this guy's trail?
See, Naval Intelligence knew he had a sister. We figured it was a long shot, but he might head for her.
Ah, they sent you alone against the killer?
Well, I was the only agent who could sing harmony.
Listen to me, all of you. Your lives are in great danger.
Okay, pal, we're all ears.
I am not Dieter Wenzel. Dieter Wenzel is an officer in Abwehr, German military counterintelligence. He is also a homicidal maniac.
A homicidal maniac? How'd he get in the German army?
We recruited him.
And he's doing all the killing?
Of course.
And where is he?
He is.
His eyes go wide. Elsa enters with a bundle of clothesline.
All right, here's the rope. I'll tie him up. I'm very handy with half hitches.
O'Reilly staggers forward and falls dead across the desk where Bernice sits. A dagger through a book is in the middle of his back. Bernice, rising, crosses to sit in the wing chair.
That's it. It's gone. The lyric is gone, and I will never get it back.
He's dead.
There's blood on these books. The knife came right through here.
Examining the book on O'Reilly's back.
Moby Dick. I don't see how a knife got through that. I couldn't even finish the first chapter.
Ken enters. Seeing O'Reilly.
God.
He was stabbed through the bookcase.
Examining the bookcase.
This is about where I was grabbed.
There's a passage there.
She pushes a book. Panel opens.
Holy mackerel!
I'm going in.
Exits into the passage.
No, Sergeant.
But he is gone.
It's useless. That passage branches off into 5 others.
Roger enters. Seeing O'Reilly.
Oh my God.
He was killed through the bookcase and practically fell on Bernice.
Oh, Bernice, are you all right?
I can't work in this environment, Roger. These people have no respect for an artist. It's casting swirls before pine. I am very drunk.
She sinks into a chair. Entering from the upright panel.
No good. It splits off into 5 different ways just inside. Look, we're going to take things one step at a time. Now, first, let's get this guy outside with the others. A couple of you give me a hand.
Eddie, Ken, and Kelley begin dragging O'Reilly out. Roger has picked up a notebook from the desk.
It's a consonant substitution.
They all look at him.
Poor BB's book. I mean, someone was trying to work out the code.
I was.
I love codes, like playing Bach. BB was substituting numerals for consonant on a triplet basis.
How's it work?
Very simple. Look.
From the hallway.
Can we stop by the hall closet? I want to pick up my earmuffs this time.
Men carrying O'Reilly are gone. Elsa throws the rope in the closet.
It's very, very easy, especially since she repeats number sets. This becomes A, P, P, L, apples. Here it repeats apples. This is corn. Here's oranges. Some sort of ongoing shopping list. Peppermint, apples again.
Apples, oranges, corn, peppermint.
What do you make of that?
Well, it might be some kind of salad.
Really? I would think the peppermint might tend to dominate.
Not if it weren't allowed to stand too long.
Maybe the sweetness of the oranges might counteract the...
Word substitutes.
Word substitutes! Of course! It's another code.
Helsa enters center.
Pardon me, gnädige Frau, but the beef is getting dry and...
Elsa!
Oh,
Now what?
Nikki pulls gun out of purse.
Put your hands up.
Helsa, one arm shoots up in a Nazi salute, and she quickly puts the other one up to cover.
What's wrong with you people?
we know you're the stage door slasher, Helsa.
You threatened me with a butcher knife.
Ach, when you open the closet? Nine. In addition to keeping the dinner warm, I have been running through the tunnels trying to keep from being murdered by my homicidal maniac of a brother.
Dieter Wenzel?
Yeah, he came here seeking refuge, posing as an Irish tenor.
Mr. O'Reilly.
Yeah.
But he's dead. They're burying him in a snowdrift right now.
I will look.
She crosses to look out the French doors.
Yeah, that is Dieter. Poor Dieter. He was a very famous entertainer in Berlin, you know. Now he lies in a snowdrift with strangers.
Yes, I hope there isn't a sudden thaw. I don't know what the milkman would think.
He was trying to kill you earlier?
Yeah, he knew I would turn him into the authorities. You shot him, did you?
He was stabbed through the bookcase.
Ah, so. Mein Gott, the tunnels!
What about them?
There's something else in there. Something evil. I have brushed against it in the dark.
Have you seen it?
If it is human, it is all in black, with the smell of death. It is demonic, and it waits for us all. Should I put the cucumbers back on ice, gnädige Frau?
Yes, I suppose so.
Helsa leaves.
Something evil. I'm going for the sergeant.
Elsa leaves.
Did Helsa actually threaten you?
Well, she held a knife and then we slammed the door in her face.
She could be telling the truth then.
Well, if she is, I think we should get out of this house as quickly as possible. Blizzard or no blizzard?
If she is, it makes it all the more important we crack this code.
What's it say about the night of the murder?
Piccadilly, 1020, tutu, toe shoes, Leo, corn. What's another word for corn?
Kelley enters, followed by Elsa, Ken, and Eddie.
No.
But I'm the only one with even the slightest knowledge of these passages. I have to go.
It is too dangerous for a woman.
Not with this.
Producing a derringer from behind some books.
The derringer which General von Grossen-Knuten carried as the personal bodyguard to the Archduke Ferdinand.
You know how to use that thing?
Sergeant, I have shot the O out of every stop sign in Westchester County.
Well, that's good enough for me. Okay, here's the plan.
Listen, everybody. We've broken part of the code in BB's book. Okay, here's what it says the night of the murder. Piccadilly, 1020, tutu, toe shoes, Leo, corn.
Oh, sorry, corn? What's corn?
A word substitute, we think.
You think? She was a dancer, wasn't she? Maybe she had corns. Okay, here's the plan. We go in from the 3 passages out here. 1 gun to a passage. The 4th gun stays here in case the fiend or whatever it is comes out of the walls.
To Elsa.
You take that passage. You get pulled, Eddie, you pulled me out of those tunnels pretty good. You take this.
Hands him the Luger.
And you go in there.
Pointing upright.
Hey, if this don't have a flag pops out and says bang, I don't know what to do with it. Boy,
No one else laughs.
my life, but this one takes the cake.
Ensign, you stay here.
Aye, sir. I want to keep working on this code anyway.
Is there any place in the tunnels don't lead?
The pantry.
Okay. You 3 go into the pantry. That way you'll be safe.
Safety is exactly what I had in mind.
Come on, Bernice. We're moving on.
Oh, good. Anything open this late?
Roger, Ken, and Bernice exit.
All set? Let's go.
Move carefully. It's a maze in there.
She exits down left. Kelley exits into the revolve.
You gonna be okay?
Yeah. Are you going to be okay?
I asked you first.
He starts the exit upright and stops.
Hey, listen, if I'm not back in 24 hours, cancel my ad in Variety.
He exits. All the bookcases close. Nikki is alone for several moments. She sits down on the piano bench with a notebook, her gun on the piano near her. Ken enters center.
Roger and Bernice are all tucked in, surrounded by frying pans. Let's hope they don't get into a fight over a lyric.
Shouldn't you stay with them?
I thought I should be here with you. You've got a job watching 3 secret passages at once.
Thanks.
Still working on that book?
These foods are word substitutes. I just can't figure them.
Another code. And locked in BB's head forever, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I must congratulate you, Ensign, on your performance.
She looks at
As
him.
as a chorus girl, quite convincing, very detailed. The appearance, the walk, the trip over the suitcase was an excellent choice.
Well, actually, that was me.
Oh, and your language, swell. So typically crass, the ring of pure banal truth.
Well, that was kind of me too. See, I was a hopeful, knocking around the Great White Way before I joined the Navy.
I see. Did you by chance audition for me?
I don't know, Mr. DeLamaze. I went to so many auditions. I mean, maybe one of them was for you. Let's see. Did you direct?
I think I would have singled you out
Oh, I doubt that.
as different from the rest.
Different.
You didn't see yourself as different from the tawdry, shop-worn, self-involved, run-of-the-mill chorus girl?
Gee, no. I thought most of them were pretty nifty.
Nifty.
The word pains him. He crosses to the up left bookcase.
The chase must be going badly. I'd expect to hear shots ringing from the walls by now.
Wait a minute. Maybe I did audition for you. Did you direct I Married an Angel?
That was Josh Logan.
And let's see. I tried out for Boys from Syracuse.
George Abbott.
Sing Out the News. Who's Who?
Charlie Friedman. Leonard Sillman.
Who's Who? People.
What?
People. She was substituting food for people. She was probably keeping appointments she didn't want anyone to know about.
About being Elsa, naturally.
So that night, it was Corn, Piccadilly, 1020. Who was Corn? Corny, comedian in the show, maybe. What's another word for?
Ken is behind her with a razor at her throat as she realizes what corn stands for.
Oh my God.
Philo Vance would have gotten it much sooner, my pretty.
He takes her gun.
Now, you and I will take a swell trip.
He is taking her to the revolving bookcase. Roger entering.
Naturally, Bernice needs another drink, so I've been elected to...
He sees them.
Oh my God.
Don't do anything foolish, Roger.
I don't want to deal with this. I absolutely refuse to deal with this.
I suppose you think I'm crazy. Well, I'm not crazy.
Ken, I have no intention of getting dragged into a psychological discussion with you. God knows I'm not feeling secure enough myself to hear your problems.
Elsa enters from the closet.
How silly. I must have turned left to the hot water heater.
She sees Ken.
Ken, what are you doing? Don't tell me you're the stage door slasher.
I am.
I asked you not to tell me.
Put your gun on the piano, Elsa, and get over there.
She does. Bernice enters.
Excuse me.
Bernice,
Seeing Ken, heads back out.
I have the wrong room.
don't move over there.
But why, Ken? Why?
Why what?
Why did you kill all those girls?
My mother was a great person.
Oh, you had to ask.
A simple woman born of simple stock.
This is going to be a long story, Ken.
My father left her for a ballet dancer.
I knew it!
She was beautiful.
The ballet dancer?
No, my mother. Beautiful.
Yeah, well, if you think so much of her, when's the last time you called her?
Well, it's been a couple of months, sure, but what do you care about anyway? You're going to die, all of you. It just remains to determine how.
Ken, I'm not putting on a tutu for anyone.
Fire, of course. What would be more natural with so many lanterns burning?
He pushes Nikki to the piano to be with the others.
This house burning to the ground will keep me warm enough till help comes, don't you think?
He starts to direct.
Roger, get up. Elsa, sit down. Bernice, put your hands on the piano. Act natural. Nice. Don't look at the gun. Nice. Good composition. Reminiscent of the final scene from Berlin Calling, the picture I made with Paul Lucas.
Oh, for God's sake!
Helmut Dantine, Conrad Veidt, George Caloris, Oscar Homoloka, and Merle Oberon. a picture which I assume you've all seen since you've seen everything else I've done that hasn't been released. Little matter, since you're all going to die. Now let's see. What can I use to make the flames spread more quickly?
Eddie steps out of the down left bookcase and hits Ken with a bottle of cognac.
Try cognac!
Ken collapses on the floor.
Eddie! Wow, just in the nick of time.
Well, I was no sooner in the tunnels when it hit me what Miss Von Grossen,
Knuten.
said.
What did I say?
It's a maze in here. And what's another word for corn? Maze! Ken de la maze! So I've been trying to find my way back ever since.
Excuse me, if you're done with that cognac, could I borrow it?
You've had enough to drink, Bernice.
You don't have to count, Roger. We're not at your house.
With some wonder.
Ken de la Maze, the stage door slasher.
Sure, he killed those dancers and then ran to hide in the one place where his madness, his paranoia, and his murderous, inhuman tendencies would never be noticed.
Where was that?
Metro Goldwyn Mayer.
Oh my. We'd best both go find Sergeant Kelley and tell him the chase is over. He could be wandering around in there for hours. And will you please go that way? Will you go in from that way?
She's heading for the revolve and points Eddie toe down left.
Can you hold down the fore, Danson?
Sure. Is there any rope?
In the closet. Bernice.
Elsa goes into the upright panel.
Well, I guess with the killer caught, it's okay this time.
She sets the cognac on the piano and opens the closet. Helsa stands there with knife. Bernice faints. Helsa calmly closes the door.
I'm so tired of picking this one up off the floor. This calls for strong coffee.
Did she get the rope?
What?
The rope.
Helsa opens the closet door and tosses out the rope, then closes the door.
Oh yes, here it is.
He exits. Eddie picks up the rope and brings it to Nikki.
Listen, I really prefer being a comic to being a hero, because when you're a hero, you spend most of your time being scared out of your wits. But I better go back in those walls and tell Kelley we caught the slasher.
And the saboteur.
Yeah, but what about the sister who sells sausage? Okay, I'll be right back. Maybe you should put another knot in that?
Eddie exits into the tunnel down left. Nikki continues to tie Ken. Bernice, on the floor, sits up.
Where is everybody?
Helsa, carrying a small bag and a large knife, steps out of the closet. Bernice sees her and faints again. Helsa sets the bag down, closes the door, and quietly moves to Nikki.
Wait a minute. If Ken is the stage door slasher, then who killed...
I did.
Nikki stands up.
Be quiet. Don't scream and you may not get hurt. I know you have a gun and identification as an intelligence officer. Where are they?
Nikki shifts weight as if getting ready to leap.
I also know what you are thinking. You are thinking, this woman is smaller and I am trained in hand-to-hand combat. I can probably take that knife from away from another smaller woman.
She removes her wig.
But can you from a man?
My gosh!
Glancing at the handbag.
Ah, the handbag.
They both lunge for the bag. Helsa slaps Nikki and sends her flying down to the floor. Helsa takes the gun and ID from the bag.
If your naval intelligence was even a little intelligent, they would know that Dieter Wenzel was once the toast of the Berlin Cabaret, even more famous than Sally Bowles.
A female impersonator?
The best. I do Lotte Lenya, Josephine Baker, and a great Dietrich.
Sits on the piano bench, one knee up in famous Dietrich pose, and sings a song made famous by her. During that song, Bernice has sat up, heard, and fainted again.
Also, my legs are better.
Then you killed
Everyone.
Miss Baverstock?
I thought it was Fräulein von Grossenknuten. She had been sitting in that chair. With her out of the way, this house would have been mine. And I wanted people to think the slasher was here. As it turned out, he actually was. Although, I also killed the Gestapo agent.
Oh, really?
No, O'Reilly. Just a little joke from the cabaret days.
Then O'Reilly actually was?
Told you, Klaus Stansdorf. When Franz and I took off with the Vaterland's money, Franz hid in New York with his share. Stansdorf found him and killed him. Stansdorf must have also had information about my sister, so he came here.
Then it was your sister.
Twin sister, yeah.
You killed your own sister?
We were never close, and I needed her identity, as I now need yours.
You'll never get away with this.
Of course I will get away. I have $250,000, and this is America.
How do you know so much about what went on? You weren't...
Walls have eyes as well as ears, this super spy. If all Americans are as simple-minded as you, your capital will one day be Berlin.
Helsa has tied Nikki's hands and has stood her up.
And now, Miss Naval Intelligence, you are about to disappear forever in the walls of this ridiculous house.
Eddie enters out of the panel down left. He is pointing a gun at Helsa.
Oof.
His hand starts to shake.
Stand still. I warn you, I'm a skilled marksman.
Helsa calmly takes the gun out of his hand.
The safety is on, Mr. Lone Ranger. A Luger, German gun. The best. Over there, next to her.
Eddie crosses to Nikki.
What happened to her hair?
She's a guy.
How come he's wearing a dress? Oh, I get it. You're trying to stay out of the army.
Very interesting country, America. Where else could you find a super spy and a comedian in one room?
The White House, probably.
All right. You two halfwits will now go into the tunnels.
What's he so burned up about anyway? You ask him to do windows or something?
This is Dieter Wenzel.
The homicidal maniac? We could be in a lot of trouble.
I am going to kill you.
Well, see, that won't be easy.
Why not?
Because I'm scared of guns. So when they handed me that gun and asked me to run around in a dark tunnel with it, naturally I removed the bullets.
Helsa looks at the gun. Eddie hits her on the head with a cognac bottle that Bernice has left on the piano.
This cognac really packs a punch.
Eddie, you're in the nick of time a second time.
Bernice sits up, takes cognac from Eddie.
You tie up her, him, them, and I'll keep an eye on him.
He crosses to Ken, upright, panel slides open, and Kelley enters with gun.
All right, don't anybody move.
It's okay, Sarge. We've caught the killers.
Kelley pointing the gun at Bernice, who has her hands raised.
This is the stage door slasher?
No, I'm the lyricist.
Over here, Sarge.
Hello? Hello? Are you all right?
Pointing to Ken.
This is the stage door slasher.
Bernice unlocks the door, letting Roger in. Elsa enters from the upright bookcase.
Helsa is a Nazi saboteur.
Helsa, a saboteur?
Only it's not Helsa. It's her brother Dieter, a female impersonator.
I do Dietrich, Lotte Lenya, Josephine Baker.
Really? Did you Judy Garland?
No, her voice is too rangy for me.
Really? I would have thought if you did La Lenya.
Well, Lenya is basically a chest voice. Well, Garland.
Yes, it's true. Garland is all head tones.
Could we leave the musical discussion for another day? I want to lock these two up.
I warn you, I have connections in very high places. I know Harry Cohn and Jack Warner personally. I have lunch with Luella Parsons.
Come on, you.
I have friends in Hollywood who are destined for political greatness. Unknown actors today, but someday.
Fine. Yeah, when they come into office, then they can appoint you to their cabinet.
They will.
Helsa does a Sophie Tucker impression, singing a song made famous by her. We all can imagine what song that is, I'm sure.
Okay, pal. Save that for Sing Sing.
I will.
Kelley drags both of them out.
Gee, we captured the stage door slasher and a saboteur. We'll probably make Winchell.
Lights and radio on. Roger turns the radio off.
We are restored to the world. I think the success of our adventure calls for a celebration. Let's repair to the dining room for crepe flambé von Grossenknuten.
That's not made with corn, is it?
Corn?
Of course. Corn. That's it, Roger.
What's it?
We're wrong setting our show in Washington. These are troubled times. time's for a musical that celebrates the spirit of America. The cornfields, the cowboys, those Surreys with all that frilly little crap on top. Our next musical should take place in Nebraska.
Nebraska. Yow!
They exit.
Now, you two performed quite heroically. The Navy will be proud of you, Nicole. I intend to write Eleanor about you. As for you, Mr. McEwen, I'm sorry this was not a real audition, or you would certainly have gotten the part.
She exits.
That's okay. He got the girl.
He did? I mean, I did?
Hey, how can I resist a guy who comes flying out of walls every time I need him?
I gotta warn you, I'm not a hero naturally.
No one's a hero naturally. Anyhow, I'm not concerned about heroics. I'm concerned about chemistry.
That I got covered.
Yeah, I know. You inherited it.
Eddie moves to kiss her. The French doors fly open and a young woman enters. She looks exactly like Helsa, except her hair is in braids. Ach, what a storm. Nein, I am her cousin Katerina, the cook from Koblenz. Eddie and Nikki laugh and fall into each other's arms as the curtain falls.
Yay!